Greetings and welcome to Chicago Union Station. Today I'll be taking you on board Amtrak Southwest Chief from here in Chicago to Albuquerque, New Mexico in their bedroom. It's going to be a really exciting train journey and we're going to get to see so much of American scenery. So let's head into Chicago Union and get this trip started. Chicago Union Station is an important point for many Amtrak trains. Not only does it serve the Southwest Chief, it also serves the Texas Eagle, California Zephyr, Empire Builder, City of New Orleans, Cardinal, Floridian, and Lakeshore Limited long-distance trains, along with many regional Midwest trains. It opened in 1925, celebrating its 100th birthday this past May. Because we're traveling in a private room, we get to head to Amtrak's Metropolitan Lounge. The Metropolitan Lounge is open to passengers with a private room, first class, or business class ticket. The lounge is a very nice place to relax before your train journey. For food, they do not offer any meals. Instead, they offer a pretty good selection of light prepackaged snacks for passengers to choose from. For drink options, they have multiple hot drink makers across the lounge, and there is a pretty large refrigerator with a good selection of soft drinks, water, and juices for passengers to choose from. The lounge itself is very large. There's plenty of seating, and this lounge is 2 levels, and the second level is accessible by an elevator for passengers with reduced mobilities. On the second floor, it's a lot quieter, and you'll usually find a seat up here if the bottom level is full. They also do have a hot drink maker up here, though I wish they had snacks up here, not just a hot drink maker. Throughout the entire lounge, you'll find departure boards showing the next train and bus departures for the next 2 hours. They also do announce when it's time to board your train or bus. After spending a little more than an hour in the lounge, it was time to head out and get on board the train. Because we're in a sleeping car, we do get to board the train first. Also, if you need any assistance getting out to the platforms, make sure to let one of the lounge front desk staff know so that way they can organize red cab assistance for you where you'll be driven out to the platform so you don't have to walk because it's quite a long walk from the lounge. Because we're traveling in a sleeping car, we get to head all the way to the front of the train, and after walking the full length of it, we can now step on board and into our car. Right when you enter, you'll find a good storage area to put any large roller bags or anything that you don't want to take with you up to your room. At the top of the stairs, we get to turn left where we'll find the bedrooms. Today, we're going to be in bedroom C. Now, let's take a look inside one of Amtrak's bedrooms. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside Amtrak's bedroom. We're going to start on this side of the suite. Here we have a little coat closet over here where you can put your jacket or sweaters in there. And then here we have the large sofa in here. And in the bedroom suite, this will fold down at night and this turns into one of the beds in here. On this side, you have the climate controls, a power outlet, and a reading light. And then on this side of the sofa, you have the music controls, really old stuff there. You have the train attendant button, the night light button, and a reading light button there. Up here is the top bunk. At night, this folds down and becomes the top bed up there. So the train attendant will pull that down if there's another passenger traveling in here with you. Here we have the really large window over here, and down here we have the table, 2 bottles of water, and a box of tissues. Up on this little ledge, this is storage when you are asleep. If you're the passenger sleeping up there, this turns into a little ledge where you can store your stuff and belongings if you're the one sleeping up there. And over here we have the large mirror over here. Hello. And in here we have the ensuite bathroom. So we have toilet and shower. This is a wet bath, so everything in here gets wet, but you have your own facility. You also have your own shampoo, conditioner, and body wash over there. And then lastly, you have your own sink right here. So you have all the facilities in your bedroom suite, so you don't have to go use the shared restroom or shower. Only a few minutes later, our train begins pulling forward, marking the start of our 26-hour journey to the southwest. The first few minutes of the ride are slow as we leave the tunnels under Chicago Union Station. Then we get a view of the southern end of downtown Chicago. We then pass Amtrak's maintenance yard where these trains are maintained and prepared for their long journeys. We also get to see many of Amtrak's venture cars which are used on their Midwest regional trains. The train tracks then turn west as we leave downtown Chicago behind. We pass by a BNSF commuter train making its way towards Union Station. A few moments later, we get one last view of downtown Chicago as our train begins to accelerate and head to our first stop of Naperville, Illinois. Our journey between Chicago and Naperville is mostly spent flying by commuter serial stations and Chicago suburbs. These tracks, nicknamed the BNSF racetrack, allow our train to continue at speed until we reach our first stop of the journey of Naperville. Naperville is a very quick stop. This stop allows for passengers to quickly get on board the train, and before we know it, we make the stop, and a few moments later, our train begins moving again. This is also going to be our last stop in Chicagoland, and the last we're going to see of big civilization for a while. Most of our train ride through Illinois is spent passing by small towns and farmlands. We make stops in the towns of Mendota, Princeton, and Galesburg, Illinois. While the best has not happened yet today, there's still something very exciting to come. Until then, let's go ahead and take a look at the other facilities in the train. Here is what one of these shared restrooms on board looks like. You can see just a restroom. It has a sink, a toilet, and all necessary amenities that you'll need for your journey. But this is what you use if you're in a roomette or a family bedroom. You use one of the shared restrooms. This is the one on the upper floor of my sleeper car. And this is what it looks like on the upper floor of any sleeper car. But yeah, this is the restroom, and the shower is downstairs in its own room. Here is what a roomette looks like on board. You can see it has 2 seats, and this is meant to accommodate up to 2 passengers. So this is good for couples or if you're a parent traveling with one child. This is where you'd stay in a roomette. You can see this is half the size of the bedroom. And you have 2 seats facing each other. You have things like reading lights, power outlets, climate controls. You have your 2 bottles of water and your table there. So you have one nice big window here. And then here is also the top bunk, which folds down at night, and that's where the second passenger sleeps if you're traveling with somebody else. And then there are also steps to get up. So yeah, this is the roomette. So if you're traveling by yourself or traveling with one other person and you'd like to save a little bit, this can also be a really good option for your travels. Around 45 minutes after leaving Galesburg, we are now approaching the Mississippi River. In order to cross the river, we have to go over the Fort Madison toll bridge. This bridge opened in 1927, and it's been carrying vehicle and rail traffic over the river ever since. Now we're starting to approach it, and the bridge connects Nyota, Illinois with Fort Madison, Iowa, so it's time to cross it.
Bridge in the world at over a mile long. The lower level for rail traffic, the upper level for automobiles. And folks, that water you are seeing on either side, that is the Mississippi River. So get your cameras out, folks, grab a couple photos. Sometimes we do see bald eagles sitting along the banks.
Crossing over the Fort Madison toll bridge gives a huge appreciation to just how wide the Mississippi River can be in some places. For example, here it's over a mile wide. After getting across the bridge, we're now entering our next state of the journey. Welcome to Iowa. Getting to Fort Madison also gives us a chance to step off the train for a few minutes and have a quick fresh air break. Our stop in Fort Madison lasted around 10 minutes. This gave passengers enough time to walk around the platform and station areas and have a fresh air break. It's always important with fresh air breaks to never leave the platform behind, as you don't want the train leaving without you on board. But after spending 10 minutes on the platform, it's time to hop back on the train and wave goodbye to Fort Madison, Iowa. This is also our only stop in the state of Iowa. We get one last view of the bridge in all its glory and the mighty Mississippi River. Now that it's getting to the evening, it's time to head to the dining car and have dinner. Amtrak's dinner is served in 3 courses, with an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. For my appetizer, I got the pearl tempura shrimp. For my main dish, I got Amtrak's signature flat iron steak, served with mashed potatoes and mixed vegetables. And for dessert, I got the white chocolate blueberry cheesecake. And overall, this dinner was delicious. And just like that, our room has been transformed from day mode to night mode. Here you can see we have the 2 beds now down. The big sofa in here transforms into the lower bunk, and then the top bunk comes down from the ceiling, and now that's there. But on the bottom one, you have plenty of space. This is bigger than the top bunk, so if you are a taller or bigger person, I'd recommend you sleep on the lower bunk because it's a bigger bed. And we have a ladder to get up to the top bunk here, and there's still enough space up here. And there's also this little harness that hooks up into the ceiling there and allows you to have something to kind of fall into if you roll off, so that we don't roll off all the way onto the bed to the floor. And there's also reading light up there. And there's still plenty of space here. You still have access to your bathroom as well. But the bedroom has more space than the roomette, so it's nice to be able to stand around in here still and have a chair, you know, as opposed to the roomette where you don't have that much space. But I'm about to head off to bed. Before heading to bed, I had to make sure to step off the train one more time in Kansas City. This is going to be our last fresh air break on day 1, as we're going to spend the rest of the night traveling across Kansas. See you in the morning. And just like that, welcome to colorful Colorado. We spent our night traveling across the flatlands of Kansas, and now we've made it to Colorado. This also means the scenery is only going to get better from here, as we're starting to near the Rocky Mountains. But now it's time to have breakfast. Heading to the dining car, it is actually always in the opposite direction of travel for sleeping car passengers. So you head the other way, and then you'll find yourself at the dining car. To drink this morning, I had cranberry juice, and for breakfast, I had Amtrak's signature railroad French toast, and again, it was delicious this morning. Looking outside in the distance, we're starting to see the Rocky Mountains, but before we can head into the mountains, we have to make a stop in Trinidad, Colorado. This is the last stop in Colorado, just one of 3. The stop here is only around a few minutes, allowing passengers to get on and off the train. The train quickly comes to a stop, and before we know it, we're already moving again. Now is also going to be the most exciting part of the trip. You see, to go from Colorado to New Mexico, we have to go over Raton Pass. With an elevation of 7,835 feet, we're going to do around 1,800 feet of vertical climbing from Trinidad. And a pretty cool part of history about this line is the line between Chicago and Los Angeles was built all the way back in the 1880s by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. It was acquired by BNSF in the 1990s, and now Amtrak uses it for the Southwest Chief, which replaced the ATSF's Super Chief train. Now, the line is important as not only does it connect Chicago to Los Angeles, it allows us to go over the mountains and get to New Mexico. Winding up the tracks, we get many opportunities to see not only the front but the rear of our train. We also slow down and begin the steep climb up the pass. Getting to the top of the pass, we reach the Raton Tunnel, which is the highest point on the line between Chicago and Los Angeles, marked by this sign. This is also where we get to the Raton Tunnel. The original tunnel was built in the 1870s, and a second larger tunnel was built in the 1900s. The original first tunnel was closed, and now the second tunnel is what remains today. It is still in use today by Amtrak over 100 years later. Getting out of the tunnel, we can now say, welcome to New Mexico, the last state of the journey. Now we are going to begin our descent down to our next station stop of Raton. Raton is going to be a fresh air break, so we get a chance to step off the train again and get a chance to walk around outside. The stop in Raton is around 10 minutes. This gives us a chance to walk around the platform and get a breath of fresh air. But the 10 minutes goes by pretty fast, and before we know it, we're back on board and we're making our way down towards central New Mexico. As we've been cruising along for the last few hours, it's time to head to the dining car to have lunch. Amtrak's lunch menu has multiple different options, but today I decided to go with the Natural Angus Burger, and I have to say it was really delicious today. For dessert, we got this cake with caramel sauce and whipped cream, and it was also really good. I also do want to note that lunch, breakfast, and dinner are included in sleeping car passengers' tickets, but if you're traveling in coach class, you do have to pay a fee for dining. Also, something really exciting is about to happen. You see, we're entering the southern Rocky Mountains now, and this is where we're gonna pass our sister train on its way to Chicago. And we pull onto a siding, and there she is, Southwest Chief train number 4 on its way out to Chicago from Los Angeles. That train has around 24 hours until it reaches the Windy City, whereas our train has a little over 20 hours until it reaches the City of Angels. We're now also nearing another important part of our train journey, and that is Glorieta Pass. Glorieta Pass is another important point on the line between the two cities. This allows us to go through the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Glorieta Pass is known for its sharp curves and steep grade. The town of Glorieta used to have an Amtrak station, but it's now closed and used as the post office, and instead the station is at Lamy, about 9 miles away. Winding the steep curves, we get to see the back part of our train. And while the cars on the highway are traveling through this area much faster than us, it's really nice to go through here very slow and take in all the beautiful scenery. Around 10 minutes later, we arrive at our penultimate stop of Lamy. Lamy is the main station serving Santa Fe, and Amtrak offers a shuttle bus to take you to the city. Our station stop here is only around 5 minutes, allowing for passengers to get on and off the train. Lamy is also served by the Sky Railway Scenic Train, which is a train running from the Santa Fe Rail Yard out to Lamy. After our quick stop, our train begins moving again, and we won't have to stop at any more stations until reaching Albuquerque. While we're getting out of the mountains, the scenery is still beautiful in this area. We can see the Sandia Mountains in the distance and the Ortiz Mountains. A few minutes later, we meet up with the New Mexico Railrunner Express commuter line. The New Mexico Railrunner Express runs between Belen and Santa Fe via Albuquerque. It connects central New Mexico's biggest populations, and we get to fly by multiple of the commuter rail stations on our way to the Duke City. 26 hours after leaving Chicago Union Station, we're now pulling in to downtown Albuquerque Station. This also means our train journey is coming to a close, so it's time to bid farewell to our bedroom and get off the train. In Albuquerque, our train is going to be serviced and refueled before continuing its journey out to Los Angeles. Now we can head downstairs to the luggage area where we can collect our bag. It's a little sad leaving the train behind and not going all the way to Los Angeles, but it was still really nice to spend a night on board the train and see all of the beautiful scenery in New Mexico and Colorado especially. If you enjoyed this train ride, make sure to hit the like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that way you're notified when I post future train journeys like this one, as I have a lot of fun train journeys coming up in the future. If you'd like to see what it's like riding on board Amtrak but in a roomette instead, check out this video on screen where I rode in one of Amtrak's roomettes. Thanks so much for coming along with me on this train journey. I do really hope you enjoyed. And as always, safe travels, and I'll see you next time. Take care.